Oh boy, it looks like Biden, there's more files this time. Classified documents found in his garage in Delaware. This is one of two of his residencies that documents for when he was vice president are now being found at. Let's get into it. So, according to the New York Times, there has been another discovery batch of more files from Biden while he was the vice president in the Obama administration. The New York Times article reads, President Biden's aides have found a new batch of classified documents at a second location associated with Mr. Biden. A person familiar with the situation said on Wednesday. It was the second such disclosure in 3 days. And the New York Times reports that Republicans reveled in the new disclosures, accusing Mr. Biden of hypocrisy and calling former President Donald J. Trump irresponsible for hoarding sensitive documents at his private club and residence in Florida. This week, the new Republican chairman of the House Oversight Committee issued a far-ranging request to the National Archives and Records Administration, which is supposed to receive all highly sensitive materials after an administration leaves office for documents and correspondence. So after it had been revealed that these documents were in existence on Tuesday, Biden told reporters in Mexico City that he was, quote unquote, surprised to learn in the fall that his lawyers found classified government documents in his former office at the Penn Biden Center for Diplomacy and Global Engagement, which is in Washington. It's a think tank. So apparently, as per White House counsel, these documents were found in Biden's garage in Delaware. So this article says Biden's lawyers have found additional classified documents at his Wilmington, Delaware residence, and all but one of these new documents were found in storage in Biden's garage, and one document was in stored materials in an adjacent room. So is that adjacent to the garage? I'm not really sure. It sounds like it. So interestingly enough, it seems like the RNC has actually, found a video of this supposed garage. And some people are pointing out that they might see the actual documents stored in the garage, which obviously we don't know if that's true. That it just could be boxes. So let's take a look at this video.
You think I'm kidding? I'm not kidding. So I'm excited about it.
So right here is where they believe that this is, you see those boxes in the background. People are thinking that's possibly the documents. Don't really know. Hopefully that's not the case, but that would be ridiculous. However, Peter Doocy today, on January 12th, was able to ask Biden about these new documents found in his garage. It seems like Biden doesn't think it's that big of a deal, even though he was going, wanting to create a witch hunt against Trump for having classified documents when he was president. Biden was vice president, whatever. Seems like he doesn't really think it's that much of an issue because it was a locked garage, and garages are very, very safe, apparently.
Mr. President, thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President,
okay.
Classified material next to your Corvette. What were you thinking?
Let me, I'm going to get a chance to speak on all this, God willing, soon. But as I said earlier this week, people, and by the way, my Corvette's in a locked garage. Okay, so it's not like you're sitting out in the street.
So
but at any rate,
was in a locked garage.
Yes, as well as my Corvette. But as I said earlier this week, people know I take classified documents and classified material seriously.
He takes it seriously when he can use it to go after Trump, I guess. But in his case, it was a locked garage. That's very secure. This is a very serious matter, I guess. So today on January 12th, Kevin McCarthy also responded to this and the hypocrisy of the entire situation, because the DOJ was and is going after Donald Trump for seemingly a similar thing, even though CNN's trying to say, oh, there's a difference because of these documents or this, and Trump's situation is that. But as Kevin McCarthy says, is there really that much of a difference?
No, because from one standpoint, they knew the documents were there. They actually asked President Trump to put another lock on them, so they were locked. You look at President Biden. He wasn't president.
So what Kevin McCarthy is saying is the National Archives actually knew that Trump had them, asked him to place a lock, so like for where the documents were being stored, and he's making the point that the National Archives, like no one even knew Biden had these documents.
He was vice president. He held these in different locations right out in the open. He criticized President Trump. Did he utilize the Justice Department to raid President Trump? Did you think that was right? They knew this has happened to President Biden before the election, but they kept it a secret from the American public. He goes on 60 Minutes, criticizes President Trump, even knowing what he has done, and he wasn't president at the time. Now we find another location that it's at, but he refused to answer. His press secretary won't answer the questions. You watched them leak photos of sitting out files of President Trump. Where's the photos of President Biden's documents? Where are those photos at? He knowingly knew this happened going into election, going into interviews. This is what makes America not trust their government. You cannot have one form of law because somebody philosophically has a different opinion than you, and you can't use the Justice Department to go after people that are politically different as well. It has to be equal across, and what I'm finding what's happening with President Biden time and again, you go from a laptop saying it, not only that it wasn't true, but utilizing your own friends to go into companies to tell them to say the same thing, to try to knock down information, to try to make sure the New York Post story couldn't be printed. You should be offended by that. You are of the press. You should be allowed to write even when you knew it was true. So, yes, sir.
So what do you guys think about this? Do you think there'll be any repercussions for Biden? I know right now the DOJ just appointed a special counsel to look at the documents that Biden had. But do you think this will go anywhere? Do you think this will have any impact on the current, investigation into Trump's documents that he had? Let me know in the comments and make sure to subscribe and like the video. Bye, guys.